Hey everyone, I'm 𝗕𝗨𝗪𝗘𝗧𝗍𝗏, co-founder of Project 10x. We're an investment, education and consulting company helping our audience get comfortable with adopting crypto. Now, if you are wondering which crypto asset to invest in, you have to realize that this all comes down to fundamentals. Now, picking a crypto asset investment can be super easy. You just have to do a little bit of research first. So in this week's video, we'll be covering 10 easy ways to decide which crypto asset to invest in, and at the end of the video we are going to cover how to rotate back into a store of value like Bitcoin. So I want to kick things off with why you need those solid principles. And the reason is because almost everyone is a beginner in the crypto world, right? Most people don't really understand the foundations of investing. They just hear a coin is good, they buy it and cross their fingers and hope it will moon sometime soon. But make absolutely no mistake, that is not the way to do it. You don't want to be like this guy, or this guy, or this guy, or this guy, and especially not this guy. And if you think someone investing in crypto assets based on the names of their kids is the worst thing I've come across, try again. So if you're investing money into a crypto asset, make sure you know exactly the reasons why. Otherwise you're taking a huge risk with your money, and no one wants to be on the losing end of a bet. So we'll start with number one, the community. So a big part of a crypto asset success is its following. So look out for cryptocurrencies with strong communities and loyal followers, because that shows people have a genuine interest and belief in their asset. Check them out on places like Twitter, run through some subreddits, YouTube channels, and some of their feedback from their communities, and see what they're saying about the potential investment. If you're confused about the technology of a crypto asset, going to these places, going to forums, going to these Twitter pages, and checking out the community on, say, a subreddit is a great way to start understanding the hype behind a crypto and whether you should make an investment in the first place. You'll also find that on Reddit, some of the more difficult and technical concepts are often broken down and explained quite simply. So these larger crypto assets usually have very active Reddit communities, but even the smaller communities are very helpful and usually happy to answer any questions that you may have. So if you need some help understanding how the process works or the project's technology, then their community is an absolutely great place to start. I also like to check out socialblade.com. Here I can get things like the social grade of a project, which is a visual representation of their rank, the number of tweets or posts over a 30-day period, and the growth of their follower count. If I see a project where the weekly followers is on an upward trajectory and their token price has stayed largely the same, that's one of the many positive investment signals I look out for. So if Social Blade is not in your arsenal, I'll leave a link in the description below so you can get right onto it. 2. Fundamental analysis. So fundamental analysis simply means the foundations of an investment. Their team, their ambitions, and their strengths. So if you're new to crypto, don't sweat the technical stuff. In the long run, fundamental analysis is going to help you just as much as technical analysis. So, understanding how to do fundamental analysis will help you make better investment decisions. And in a market where most people are chasing after these low quality shitcoins that they think they're going to pump, fundamental analysis allows you to separate the signal from the noise. So here's a few ways to do that. Number 3, the team. Researching and vetting the team behind a crypto project is one of the most important factors you can look into. Things you want to look at are: who is behind the crypto asset? Do you trust in their expertise? Are they ambitious? Do they have a proven track record of success? These are all super important questions when you're deciding which crypto asset to invest in, because a team has the power to steer them to success or failure. One of the places I can't recommend enough for this sort of research is 𝗕𝗧𝗘𝗦. For those that don't know about 𝗕𝗧𝗘𝗦, it's basically a platform with professional grade data, tools, and research on a huge number of cryptos. It's essentially the Google of crypto and my first stop when performing analysis of an asset. It shows you things like who are the core team and contributors of a project, who are the advisors of a project, who are the biggest institutional investors in the project, and what else have they invested in. If you're serious about understanding the fundamental value of a project and delving into their team, then signing up for 𝗕𝗧𝗘𝗦 is a must. And to that list, I'll also add Nuggets News. So I'll leave a link in the description below. Number 4, the technology. A big part of a crypto asset success is the underlying technology. Now you've got to understand how it's going to perform against their competitors and what makes the technology stand out from the crowd. Look out for those big innovators, the cryptocurrencies that will completely disrupt their industry. The most important question you can ask yourself is, what is this technology eating? For example, Bitcoin is eating traditional stores of value, a potentially $100 to $500 trillion market, depending on how you measure it. Filecoin is eating traditional data centers, which is a $65 billion market and growing at a compound annual growth rate of over 6%. DHedge is eating traditional hedge funds, and today the hedge fund industry has total assets under management valued at more than 3.2 trillion, according to a 2018 Preqin Global Hedge Fund report. Also, once you have the size and future growth of the potential addressable market, you start to get a bit of an idea on how the technology can disrupt their industry, and whether this has actually already been priced in to the value of a crypto asset. 5. The white paper. Every time a new crypto asset is released, they usually bring out a white paper too. This outlines the purpose of the crypto asset, its technology, how it works, and its overall vision, and I'll get to that next. A white paper is one of the best places to evaluate the fundamentals of a crypto project. And you should never ever invest in anything until you've read their white paper. Now, I get it, you might have to wade through a little bit of technical jargon in the white paper, but don't let that put you off. It's 100% worth reading because it is such a rich source of insight. Plus, the more white papers you read, the better you'll become at identifying these long-term winners. And a white paper can also tell you about the crypto project's professionalism and credibility. On that note, some red flags to watch out for are: is the crypto asset promising something unrealistic? Is the white paper ambitious in terms of its overall objectives? Are there spelling mistakes? If there are more than a few spelling mistakes, this is a huge red flag for me. If a company can't invest the time into getting their white paper right, it's probably not serious about their future, and it's not a company I want to invest in. So number 6, their vision. The vision of the crypto asset is really important. You want to make sure this crypto asset will be around for at least the next 5 or 10 years. And if they're not thinking long term, then you shouldn't bother investing. A big vision is a sign of ambition, and without a clear vision and a mission, the coin is just going to struggle to become a real competitor or disruptor in the industry. Also, whether it's their white paper, social media, or their website, try to identify their intent for the future of the coin, and also look at the community to see what type of a culture is being created. You should only invest in a crypto asset with a strong vision that can go the distance and pay off in the long run. So while short-term gains can be exciting and you might be thinking about things like swing trading, you should still think about where the crypto asset is going to be in the next 5, 10 or 20 years. Number 7, their leadership. So the success of a coin is navigated by the leadership team. That's obvious. They're the ones who make all the big decisions. The leaders are the ones that carry out the vision. So research their team and look at what they've achieved so far. You want to be assured that if they're the champions of the vision, then they are the ones that can lead the project to success. Check to see if they're personally invested in the project. Look at other crypto asset related projects that they've worked on, or if they have any relevant experience. Have they done this before? How many times have they done this before? Do they have a reputation as a CEO or a CIO? Research what their leadership team has said about the coin and what they're trying to achieve. Don't be shy to check them out on social media either. And on that note, LinkedIn is a fantastic place to start. It often has, the leaders' roles, historic and current, and whether they have that relevant experience. For example, here we have the Chief Investment Officer of Apollo Capital, who are also the founders of DHedge, the Decentralized Asset Management Platform, otherwise known as Decentralized Hedge Funds. Now, judging by Henrik's experience, we can see that he has clearly been in the crypto space for a while now. Given his experience as VP of Institutional Equity Sales at Swedish bank Svenska Handelsbanken, and his experience as a hedge fund manager of Precise Asset Management, it's safe to assume he knows a thing or two about how hedge funds operate. So this lines up with his role at DHedge, and this is a positive signal in my humble opinion. Number 8, pricing history. Have you ever heard the saying, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior? Of course you have. This isn't always the case, especially not with cryptos. However, pricing fluctuations gives you a strong history of the coin and if it will be a solid investment for the future. Are they volatile in value? When the market takes a big dip, which it regularly does, was the coin resilient? One good example I like to use is Nexo. Typically when there is a market correction in Bitcoin, most altcoins will follow suit. However, Nexo seems to weather the correction better than most. Why? Well, because the tokenomics of the coin incentivizes the users of the platform to hold their Nexo tokens through these dips to capitalize on the advantages of holding the token, such as earning a higher yield on the coins you are staking and being eligible for a more competitive borrowing rate when you do decide to borrow. The other thing to look out for is whether the crypto assets are priced at an all-time high. If they've hit an all-time high, I'd recommend waiting it out until the crypto asset takes a dip. Remember, the rule is buy low and sell high, not buy high and sell low. Now, understanding the pricing history of a crypto asset could be a new concept to you. So most people have no idea what they're looking at, and that is perfectly fine. There's avenues that you can take, like going onto CoinMarketCap, and it is a great place to start. It has a ton of information on the project, such as a brief description of the project. It lists where the exchanges are, where you can buy the actual token that you're looking at. It shows comparisons of various coins as well. Now, looking at the current price is one thing, but some people want to try to forecast price movements. Attempting to forecast price movements of anything that is traded at an exchange is a game of chance. No one is going to be right all the time. So, if you're a beginner, I wouldn't worry about predicting the future price. Just stick to the fundamentals. Number 9, credibility and reputation. Now, these two things are also super important. You want to ask yourself things like, is the crypto asset respected online? Do they have a strong reputation? The bottom line is if they have a bad reputation, then you know you probably shouldn't invest your money into them. You really need to have strong credibility and trust to be successful in the crypto space. So, what you can do is run some Google searches, look through the crypto communities, check out what people are saying on Twitter, and see what the community thinks of the project. The other thing here is that you want to invest in a project that people feel positive about. You have to avoid the scams. And scams, there are so many out there. If you find a coin that looks like multi-level marketing scheme or a pyramid scheme, get the hell out of there. And if you need a real-world example to get your head around it, check out the controversy behind OneCoin or BitConnect. So number 10 is the roadmap. When you're deciding which crypto asset to invest in, you should look for a project with a solid roadmap and strong plans for development. This is key if you're looking for long-term success. A few things to watch out for are clear timelines for the development of the project, because if there's no clear timeline, this could show a lack of commitment for the development team. Number 2 is when are they planning to release major updates? If the project has a limited number of coins in circulation, then when is that limit expected to be reached? It's a fair question. So you guys all might be wondering how to use this guide. The bottom line is you use this guide as a checklist. So before you decide which crypto asset to invest in, simply run through each of these 10 points and make sure your potential investment ticks the boxes for each. And while there's definitely no safe bets in the crypto world, as I'm sure that that's been in the space for a while understands, this guide will really help you pick a strong investment with solid fundamentals. Finally, in my humble opinion, the bottom line is to always stack sats. For those that don't know what that means, it means adding to your Bitcoin stack. This is because Bitcoin is a store of value, and you want to preserve your wealth in a store of value that is appreciating at 200% per year compound annual growth rate. That is the number one piece of advice I give our clients, whether they're investing with us or we're providing a consulting service. Now, that can mean allocating a portion of your business cash flow or salary to buying Bitcoin, but it can also mean investing in altcoins during a bull market like we see today. And when those altcoins have had some generous returns of 50, 100, 1,000+% returns, reallocating that capital into Bitcoin and perhaps Ethereum. Anyway, that's all we have time for today, folks. Make sure to like and subscribe, because in next week's video, we'll be putting this strategy into action and assessing one of my favorite up and coming low cap crypto assets.